Chris Chinnock here for Display Daily at the IITSEC 2014 conference. I'm in the Rockwell Collins booth with Mr. Gibbs, plural. There's only one of you, but the name is plural.
Yeah.
Nick Gibbs. And so we're going to talk about what's. I guess there's some new news here that we can talk about, but let's actually start by talking about some of the trends that you told me about earlier. That's kind of 5 to actually 15-year trends that you're seeing. So the first trend you discussed was live virtual constructive. So tell me what you see happening there.
Right. Well, so the technology-wise, the ability to train in live virtual constructive in a convergent environment has been with us for a while. There's been a lot of discussion about it. Yeah. Right now, however, there's a big buzz about the technical ability to do it and about how we're going to work in the industry to create that platform for the training community. What that amounts to is an inflection point right now where we're seeing a lot of urgency and interest in conducting live and virtual constructive training, but not yet an established basis for the training needs assessment, for the training needs that will be derived from that. So what we anticipate is working in the next 1 to 2 to 3 to 5 and then even longer time period to create that balance between the right level of live, virtual, and constructive such that we have optimum and maximum benefit for the trainee.
Right. So that boils down to having all these new tools and assets to do training, but what's the right level of each of those combinations, and how do you measure the validity and the accuracy of that training experience? That's where the immaturity is, I think, is what you're saying.
Yes, that's correct. So it is all of those things. It is establishing the right balance between the live asset, the virtual, and the constructive, as well as you pointed out, the how do you then measure success? How do you measure that the training was accomplished and that all the training is positive?
Because there can be negative training, and I guess we don't really know if some of these assets are doing that or not. This is the point.
That's right. We need to be sure that we protect against negative training.
Right. Okay. So the second thing you mentioned was then being able to have interoperability between data sets. Not only, I guess, commonly there may be some within a company, but between companies and between data assets is a particular problem for the industry.
Right. So if you look at the simulation environment, it really is comprised of multiple data sets, multiple utilities working together to create the whole simulation environment. So there's an out-the-window database, there are SAF forces, there's radar, communications. All of those different things need to interact within a particular simulation environment, but then also across simulation environments, across joint commands, as well as joint forces among our allies. And so, there are many formats for doing that, and the issue then needs to be, how do you create an application layer that enables correlation across those different platforms, across the different simulators, and still maintains correlation among all assets in the training environment?
That's a big problem, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a hard problem, but we're working hard on it, and we believe that now is the right time to solve that problem.
Is this a standards problem? Can this be solved by one company?
No, it's going to take a cooperative effort from industry in general as well as the user community. So we're providing leadership, and we're looking for others to help in leading that change.
Okay. Can there be standards? Is there a standards role here? Is there a body that even would lead that?
Well, certainly standardization of some elements is necessary and would be helpful. But I think more importantly is creating an interoperative environment such that there is an application layer that enables the disparate pieces of the puzzle to operate as one unit. Because there are too many, you can't stifle creativity. You don't want to do that. You don't want to inhibit the growth of different aspects of the industry. Yeah. So the right way to do it is to enable that intercommunication across multiple platforms.
Okay. A way of sharing metadata, essentially?
Yes, that certainly would be a key part of it.
Okay. Very interesting. Okay, so in back of us, what you're showing here is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is that 6 channels? Yeah. 6 channels with an EP8000. This is with your own projection system, the SXGA resolution. What do you call that again? I forgot.
It's the ProSim Ultra.
ProSim Ultra. I always remember it as a Zorro projector.
Yeah, that's the Zorro technology.
Right.
That is our unique patented technology.
Yes, indeed. And so the EP8000 is the FPGA-based image generator, and you told me that you're constantly kind of adding new features and capabilities to that.
Right. So the EP8000 is an image generator based on a custom design of our FPGA chips that go on the board, using all COTS hardware throughout the system, and then we run the EP2 software, which is updated twice a year for the entire user community, as well as we run that same software on our EP80. So we have a common software which we're continually adding features and functions and enhancing, speeding things up, as well as then taking that over to the EP80 on the PC platform.
So the EP80, as you mentioned, is a PC platform. It uses standard processors, standard GPU cards, and you can actually mix and match EP80 and EP8000. Boy, this is becoming a tongue twister for me. Even within one simulation, although some tend to be more focused on one market or another. Correct.
Yeah, typically the higher-end applications will be satisfied with the EP8000, and they may also have other requirements such as a UAV, which we have then used the EP80 to satisfy that part of the requirement. And then you know, if there's a footprint issue or a strong desire for a PC product, then we'll use the EP80 product, but it runs the same common software, which enables reuse of all the same databases, all the correlation is there, all the sensors are the same.
And the Griffin Dome, the F-35 simulator that you showed me last year in the UK uses the EP80 IG because of the footprint issues. It's a smaller physical footprint. These EP8000s are big machines.
It's larger. It's smaller than you think maybe, but it is bigger than the configuration for the F-35. However, that was the right solution for the product, for the customer, and the training needs of that customer. It's a very high fidelity solution. It employs 25 ProSim Ultras around the Griffin Dome and the EP80.
Very nice image, I must say. I did get a chance to get inside of it. It is phenomenal. And in fact, some of the feedback that you've been getting from the end users has said that they are really appreciating the ability to see the sensor data in that simulator that they really have not experienced in other applications, correct?
Yes, that is correct. We have received feedback from some of the pilots that the sensors that were available in the simulator were available earlier than the asset actually in the airplane. So that gave them the ability to train and have that experience.
And you've actually brought that same concept over to what you showed me over here, the virtual performance trainer.
The virtual avionics procedures trainer, the VAPT.
VAPT, thank you. There's so many acronyms in this industry. But the whole point of that is you make your own avionics hardware. You make your own avionics software. You can actually now run that software on the real simulator, which is the same stuff that runs in the actual aircraft. And in fact, sometimes the trainers will be updated with the software sooner than the actual airframe.
Well, certainly when there is a change to the airplane, we have the ability to immediately update the simulators where they have been developed using CoreSim architecture in both the airplane in our own facility as well as in the simulator in our facility.
And CoreSim was another feature that you also showed. This is the ability for an instructor to customize their training environment. They can create their own templates, their own scenarios, without having to recompile a bunch of code or go back to the original vendor, to get some changes to some code. It's very powerful.
That's right. So CoreSim is both the development environment and the real-time host for the simulation environment. And it is very powerful, and we're very excited about that product as well.
Now, that's been out for, 2 or 3 years, I think, now?
We have had it on our own when we did our own full flight simulators for about 4 years, and we have now packaged it as a combination of SDKs to create a development environment for customers to enable their own simulation capability.
Okay. And that's being well received, I trust?
Extremely well received.
So tell me about the mobile application that you've also announced here at the show.
So what we've created is an iPad interface to the CoreSim software for all of our products, really. So it is essentially a user interface made very easy to update, and is consistent with our product line.
So instead of having to sit at the operator console on a PC with a monitor, you can now do this remotely on a tablet, a smartphone?
Sure, and when you're dialing in some aspect, or if you are optimizing the system, you don't have to be behind a desk at a PC. You can be just have your tablet in your hand and do what you need to do.
Let's see. The other news you also told me about was in the head-mounted displays that go on for the helmet-mounted. What's new there is you upgraded some of the electronics for that, a refresh for the displays and electronics. But now you can also have non-ITAR sales, means you can export this to other countries.
That's right. So for the helmet-mounted display, it has not previously been possible to market that outside of the United States without invoking the export restrictions and all those compliance rules. So this newer version enables that product to be marketed and sold abroad without any restriction on export. Wonderful. So it's a commercial product.
That's going to mean nice sales, I suspect.
We certainly hope so.
I think we've covered most everything, haven't we?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, great. Thank you, Nick.
Appreciate it.
Chris Chinnock here for Display Daily.